All right, well, welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up with Jones Hour.
Good to be back with y'all.
What are we going to be talking about today?
Today we have some special guests.
Oh.
We're excited to show y'all.
Are they here? We have surprise
They're close
guests?
by. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Some would say very close by.
And who are these guests?
These are our partners from Arkansas.
We're
from Arkansas.
Hey guys, how are you? Welcome.
Thanks for joining.
I'm excited to introduce these guys.
For sure. It's our first guest ever on the show. What a perfect segue into figuring out how to do 4 people at 2 microphones.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to have to break up, right? We're
Yeah.
going to have to, I'll take one and you take the other. Okay, well, which one of us is going to go first?
I'll go.
Okay, great.
Or we rock, paper, scissors for it.
I'll
go.
Okay, I'm getting up.
Cool. All right, everyone. I want to introduce one of our partners from Little Rock, Kevin McCollum. We're super excited to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Fresh off the boat. They just got here for lunch.
Yep.
Had some lunch at Brookhaven, Memphis staple. So I want to, part of the reason for doing this is we're expanding. As y'all know, our mission has always been Memphis and our city and growing our city. And that's still super important to us. And so as we grow our footprint and grow our mission, it was important to us to bring in partners with like-minded mentalities and experience and people that we knew had the same ability to execute on the same level with the same passion for their city. And so we were lucky enough to be introduced to this crew through Jacob Spears, who's also one of our partners, who y'all get to meet. He was the one standing in that corner, the shorter one. But yeah, anyway, we want y'all to get to know them, learn what they do, see what they're doing. There's a lot going on in Arkansas, as you all know, and being neighbors, it's kind of the same microcosm. So it just makes a lot of sense to join forces and hear what's going on in y'all's world. But just before we're getting going, we are on this every day, or every week or every month or whatever we're posting, and so everybody knows us and is tired of hearing from us. But we'd love to hear more about you, Kevin, and your background, and what's next.
Yeah. Really excited to be here. Once we found out you guys did a podcast, that was really the selling point for us, right?
Yeah, that's the selling point for everybody.
Yeah, we want to make sure we get on the mic and get on cam, so get those views up.
That's how we close deals. When people don't want to list with us, and they're like, "Wait a minute, you have a podcast?" And we're like, "We have a podcast."
Clear selling point.
Yeah.
No, really excited to be here. Met you guys late last year, and just your vision and what you guys do here in Memphis was something that we want to bring to Arkansas and continue our work that we do there. Really excited about our city and the growth that's going on in Little Rock, and want to just emulate kind of what you guys are doing and
Sure.
young, innovative, strategy, bringing it to Arkansas. So just really excited
For sure.
to grow over there.
Cool. Yeah, and so before you were with us, obviously, I know where you were, but I'd love for you to share your background and what you did and what you're doing now for us with the team there.
Yeah, sure. So 2017 started my real estate career with Flake and Kelly Commercial. Spent a few years there, and then moved to Flake and Company. Spent a few years there doing leasing, property management, asset management. So learned a lot those years under those great real estate minds in Central Arkansas.
For sure.
So just really thankful for the opportunity I have there, but knowing that we can do a little bit more with our group here and bringing more to Central Arkansas is just a really exciting thing. So
Yeah, that's cool. And so when you were with most recently Flake and Company, what did that look like? What was your team? What type of properties were you working on?
Sure.
What type of cool things were y'all doing in that market?
Yeah, so Arkansas market, obviously we're pretty diverse in some of the things we do over there. So we do medical, we do office, we do retail, we do a little bit of everything. So we're familiar with everything that goes on in those avenues. So my primary job was managing our assets and making sure we're taking care of tenants, taking care of landlords. That was kind of my passion there. So
cool. And that's interesting. So we've actually never really talked about that on our show. I don't know if anybody knows what we actually do. They know we're involved in deals, and we talk about this happens here and this happens there, and Topgolf came and Topgolf went, and then Topgolf came back again, and here we are with the Topgolf. And but like, what does that mean? Like, you manage the buildings, and so that's and this is kind of off script a little bit, but I think it's important for our audience to know like what that means and like
Sure.
what we do.
Sure. When it comes to managing a property, you've got to take care of it like it's your own, right? I mean, your landlord hires you, owner hires you to take care of their asset for them. We want to make sure we do a good job. So that comes from taking care of all aspects of the building, whether it's landscaping, janitorial, fire suppression, just anything that goes on inside of a building, and then also making sure our tenants are taken care of, right?
Sure.
So to make sure a tenant wants to stay with us, we got to make sure we're doing a good job taking care of them.
Yeah.
So that just it all goes hand in hand.
Yeah, people forget about that because it's like cool. We get the leases, like we do a lease. It's fun. That's exciting. Deal's done, but like it's really kind of the beginning of all of that.
That's right.
And what we were really excited about with this partnership in Little Rock is like Kevin and his team having this super strong asset management background allows us to get the deals done, perform for our clients, but then beyond that, like carry that relationship through, make sure that they're happy, make sure that the longevity of the relationship is there. And really that's how you make the money, right? The lease is fun, but from the landlord standpoint, like expenses, right? Commission, tenant improvement allowance.
Yep.
They don't start making their cash flow until the
That's
tenant
right.
starts paying and hopefully stays.
Yeah.
And so that's what really landlords tend to like Kevin's more than Jonathan's because I'm an expense and you're not. Well, you are expense, but
Yeah.
you help his cash flow.
Trying, yeah.
So-
Take care of annual budget. Make sure, make sure the property's cash flowing.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I think Dustin, Jacob, we're going to talk more about like what's going on in Little Rock and what and the Arkansas market as a whole. But what goals do you have short term for this partnership that we've got, aside from like maybe finishing our construction of our office and not working on a fold out?
Yeah.
But like more specific, like what goals do you have kind of short term and bigger kind of Dustin calls them big, hairy, audacious goals. Like what is that big, hairy, audacious goal long term?
Sure. So yeah, short term, like you said, our office under construction right now. Hopefully
Yeah.
July 1's our day. We'll be moving in, so really excited about that. Short term, obviously growing the Jones Hour brand in Little Rock because we know it's a good brand. We want to be visible. We want to be in the community. That's that's one thing that you talk about is not just business, but also being visible in the community.
For sure.
That's a goal for me, and I know the rest of our team. Long term, we want to be part of that revitalization of the retail and all the aspects of like downtown or
sure.
new areas that are growing, East Village, things like that. We want to be a part of that, right? That's something that we think about every day. What tenants can we bring here?
Yeah.
What landlords are out there that may want to come in this area or help develop here and be a part of that with us. So long term, we see growth. We see our city with cool things.
Yeah.
So,
And it's super cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. I'm glad you brought up East Village. That's one of my favorite neighborhoods in Little Rock.
yeah, really cool.
Mark my words. You heard it today on this date. Jonathan Hour is saying that is going to be one of the coolest revitalization projects that we're going to see throughout the entire state. I love that part of the city. I love what's going on. It's going to be really fun to see. With that, great time to segue into bringing up Dustin and Jacob, hearing more about what's going on with them. But thanks, Kevin. It's always great to be with you.
Yep, happy to be here.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm happy to introduce Jacob Spears, our newest partner in the Arkansas office. I think I'd like to, tell a little bit of a story, or have you tell the story for us. Okay. You have an interesting history and background in both Memphis and Arkansas in general, and you were really the linchpin in helping us figure this out. So I guess let's start. Why don't you talk a little bit about your background and your history in Memphis, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Well, first of all, appreciate you guys having us on to the podcast I've heard so much about.
Don't screw it up.
Like a celebrity, right? I feel like I am one of the chosen few that get to sit in the chair, right?
So there's three partners, and we only had two of them on, so that tells you you're at least top 60%.
Here we are, right? Yeah. No, my background is, like you said, diverse. Went to the oil and gas industry directly out of college, and then from that went into construction. Actually moved to Memphis to begin my construction career with the GC here. We did general construction and abatement and things like that.
How long were you here?
I was here about 3 years.
Okay.
From the very beginning of 15 until 18, or the end of 17, so right at 3 years. And then I moved back home to Little Rock, which is home for me. Born and raised Little Rock. Was away for about 7 years, so it was good to get back. We started building a family, so we thought it'd be a good idea to get closer to the free babysitting with the parents there.
So while you were here, though, you had met Jonathan already,
so
right?
I was Jonathan and I met. Me going and doing a cold call sales call when he was at Boyle. I was trying to get the construction work, so I went in and sat in his office, and we kind of hit it off and ended up, scheduling a happy hour later on. I think our first date was at the Brookhaven, so we had lunch there today, so that was full circle. That was good. So that was about 9 years ago now, I'd say.
Okay.
And then when I moved back to Little Rock, we stayed in touch. Tried to bid a couple construction deals here for Boyle, none of which were successful, but we made it. We tried a lot.
I thought it was interesting that after Jonathan and I founded the firm, one of our first trips was to the ICSC Recon in Vegas, right?
Yes.
And that's where I met you for the first time, right?
And that was, 2 years ago or something?
18 months-ish,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah.
And you were still doing construction then, right? And
Yes.
so you were pitching construction business, I guess, to tenants and landlords or whatever in Vegas. But we spent a lot of time with you.
Yeah. No, it was a fun trip.
We have some crazy stories. Hot Wheels comes to mind, but we're not going to tell that one today.
No.
But I didn't really think much about it at the time. And then fast forward, I guess we had a conversation with you that we were, looking to expand into other markets and whatever. If you knew somebody, let us know. And Jonathan and I drove to a whole different city, different market altogether, trying to recruit a couple of people to do just that, right? And it was a complete and utter failure. It was awful. And we walked out with our heads hung low, and we literally got in the car and you called.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about that call.
That was a serendipitous situation, I
Yeah.
would say, to
Yeah.
begin with. But I think the day before that, I was at a Little Rock Chamber annual luncheon, and Kevin, who had just been on here, came up to me and said, "Hey, if you hear anything, I'm thinking I might want to make a move." And
That was awesome.
and so immediately you guys came to mind when I got that. Soft. Hey, I'm not looking that hard, but if something comes up, let me know, kind of thing. So I immediately called you guys. I think it was the next day, and talked to you about Kevin, and then it ended up being, well, it began to snowball. I think the original question Jonathan posed, well, you going to come over too? And I was like, well, I'm doing construction. I've been doing construction, but I've always had a passion and interest in commercial real estate. So I initially, I think, said no, probably not. And then, as the conversation progressed, I was like, you know what? I should do this. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
We're so big on culture. We have our core values lined out, and we have to make sure everything's the right fit. And it was just clear from the first time we met. I mean, obviously I had hung out with you before, which we talked about, but meeting both Kevin and Thomas, that you guys were such a cultural fit that it made sense. And we had to do it. So super excited that we did. We're a few months in now, and things are really starting to spin up. Tell us a little bit about, I guess, Arkansas, and you have experience in Memphis. I've called it kind of flyover country. We're in the middle, and I think that we have a lot of commonalities, a lot of synergies. And what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, the cities are very similar. Obviously, Memphis is a larger scale. Essentially, that's the way I look at it. Is Memphis is a blown-up Little Rock, even with the demographics and the needs and wants of the city. We're a little smaller, but we have the same struggles and same successes, I think, in both cities that you guys have here, just on different scales, obviously. But Little Rock is a special place to me, but the state of Arkansas as a whole is a special place to me. Obviously, born and raised, moved away, lived. People said, "Oh, you're from Arkansas." They don't really know. When you live in other places, don't know much about it. Like you said, the flyover states kind of thing. So that's kind of our goal, I think, going forward with the Jones Hour partnership in Arkansas is putting Arkansas on the map more.
Well, that's our thought. Is
there's
there's so much opportunity there. Memphis has opportunity, leaps and bounds, but you guys have so much growth potential. I think there's a lot more energy there. And you've got Northwest that's exploding already, Walmart land, so we know all about that. Specifically in Little Rock, in your opinion, in Memphis, we know the trade areas like Midtown and Germantown, Collierville, all that. What are some interesting areas of town that people need to know about in Arkansas?
So I think there's a couple different areas that are growing. We have two. I kind of segment them in my mind in two different areas. We've got the established areas in Little Rock that have been there. You've been to the Heights Hillcrest area. You've seen that. The downtown
Love
area.
That area.
It's kind of had its ups and downs, but it's going to be there. It's the city center. But then we have the newer type type developments, and most of those are going to be further west
Okay.
Like Chenal Drive and that kind of
Okay.
area. We've driven you guys around out there.
Uh-huh.
I think that's everything's kind of moving west. But then we also still have those areas that are established that need the revitalization, like Jonathan talked about earlier, like the East Villages.
Okay, so tell us about East Villages. He did say that. I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's just east of downtown.
Okay. Is that where the brewery is? The Lost 40?
Yes, Lost 40's over there.
Okay,
They were
yeah.
one of the first people to move into that area.
God,
and
what's
take
the
a
name of
gamble.
that company that owns that Yellow Rocket?
Yes,
Those guys are so
restaurant
cool.
group.
Yeah, yeah.
They've done very well and very successful with the restaurant industry
Yep.
in Little Rock. I think they even have some stuff in Northwest as well. But
Yeah, they're opening the local lime
lime,
concept here in Germantown. So that's already an Arkansas connection right there. It's
that's
awesome.
a Little Rock favorite, and that's out in
Yeah.
West Little Rock.
Okay. Okay.
And then I know East Village it's got a lot of the things are lining up for the growth there. You've got the Heifer International, which was back over in there. I think there's some big plans for what's going to go over there. It just recently sold.
Yep.
You're going to get a lot of movement if all the things line up that they're saying are going to happen over there. There's restaurants moving in there. It just probably monthly they're looking to move into that area. There's a lot of green space, open areas there.
Yep.
The stuff had been torn down way back when, so there's going to be, I think, a lot of opportunity for ground up development over there, and you're going to see that coming in the next few years after the existing areas are buildings are leased up, because we drove around the other day trying to find a place for a burger concept over there, and
Yep.
it's booked. Like there's nothing.
It's tight.
Yeah, there's
Inside
nothing there.
the Hillcrest area is like that too,
Yep.
and then the Heights is pretty tight as well.
Right. But
Anyway.
the difference being there is there's nowhere to build up, and East Village has that opportunity
That's true.
of the green field space where you can build new.
What's the name of that area that's in North Little Rock?
Argenta.
Argenta. Yeah, tell me about that a little bit.
That's had a really good positive swing. I would say probably in the past 5 to 7 years.
North Little Rock as a whole, I feel like, has been on the upswing. Is that true?
I would say so, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
North Little Rock, for people that don't know, the river is all that divides Little Rock and North Little Rock. But, the people from North Little Rock have a very strong passion about their city, and, they like
Because
to...
it is a fully separate municipal city, right?
And
Yeah.
they stand behind it. I'm a Dogtown guy. I'm a North Little Rock guy. They're very passionate about it. A lot of my family's from that side of the river. So in Little Rock you'll have a lot of crossover. Obviously, it's not like a big rivals or anything, but it's different but good. I would say to Little Rock and North Little Rock.
Okay. So what do you, with partnerships going, talked about Little Rock, Northwest Arkansas, just in general, what are you most excited about with the new venture and your new career path and all of that?
I'm the most excited about, well, first of all, the culture that you guys have here in Memphis. We came and visited a couple times while we were getting all this off the ground, and seeing the way your office interacts with each other, the things you do, just the day-to-day coming in, everybody's, having a good time, it seems like, right? Nobody's got their head down and, not happy. So the culture you have here, we want to replicate that and build that in Little Rock with our office. The other thing I'm excited about is the opportunity to bring the bigger name retail and culinary things to the city of Little Rock. I mean, we've got some needs we got some holes, I would say, in our market that
I think it's
that
been
we'd like to
underserved.
fill. Yeah.
I think that's what you're trying to say,
Yes,
right? There's
absolutely.
opportunities.
Yep.
We were building the aerial maps, and I was shocked to see how few national and regional retailers that are in the market. So that's exciting.
Yeah, no, that's like I say, that's what I'm most excited about is we want to be associated with as being the people that brought these big names to Little Rock, right? Or Arkansas in general, not just Little Rock. We're hoping to serve the whole state. We plan to serve the whole state. Northwest obviously is a different beast. It's
Walmart land, baby.
It's crazy. Well, it's Walmart, Tyson, JB Hunt land. It's all the big boys over there. So that area of the state doesn't need the help. They got the people knocking on the door over there, which we'd love to be a part of that too and plan to be.
Yeah.
But Little Rock and the surrounding metro area, I think, like you said, has been underserved, and we want to kind of shake it up and do things differently than things have been done in the past, but in a very positive way, bringing new, exciting things to Little Rock.
So I'm glad that you talked about we talked a little bit about Northwest, but I mean, it truly is the whole state of Arkansas.
Right.
I mean, you guys will work in Hot Springs, you'll do stuff in Texarkana and
Right.
Jonesboro or whatever serves the whole state.
And that's Hot Springs is one of my favorite places, and I don't know. We need to get you guys over there. It's it's got so much history.
Yeah.
I read a lot in the books about the history of Hot Springs, and it's talk about potential. You've got the lakes, and you've got all the old historical bathhouses and things like that, and
You just want to take us to the track. We
it's
get it.
well that, but it's just not. You look at it, and you go downtown Hot Springs, and you're like, this could be so cool if it was done. Not that it's not done right. It just needs an injection of vigor, I think I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all I've got. Any questions for me or anything top of mind before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered most of the high points so far, but hopefully we're going to be back on here soon talking about how many.
Yeah, we'll have to have Thomas on at some point. I know he's in Alaska.
Braving the wilds of Alaska.
Doing whatever he's
quite
doing with the
adventurous.
glaciers.
Yeah.
But we'll have you guys back on, including Thomas, and I'm sure we're going to have lots of new exciting things to talk about and deals that you guys are doing, and all the great things that Arkansas has to offer. So until then, thanks guys. See you next time.